All right, so now we are live.
All right, should we just introduce ourselves? We're the Olive Group. This is PC 729. This is our first planning meeting for our policy process. So, yeah.
Yay!
So I'm glad it all worked out for all of us. So I'm calling in, I was telling them before, from Middle East. So I'm about 7 hours. So it's 11:20 at night here for me. So I'm.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
So thank you guys. I know, just try to find a time that worked that wasn't like the middle of the night for me. So, and if we need to do middle of the night, that's fine, because I know I have a very weird time zone. So, and I'm happy to do that. So,
if this time works for you, then this is fine. I'd rather not have you up in the middle of the night and catch the things while we're talking.
Absolutely. We could even do it earlier. That would be, if that would help too.
Yeah, well, next when we end this meeting, let's plan kind of when our next time will be, and if a Saturday is good and a little bit earlier in the day, that's great with me. So
awesome.
But yeah,
Perfect.
So yeah.
What did you guys think about? I mean, I'm completely open with doing any topic whatsoever. I know that everybody kind of had. I think what was it? We talked about smoking cessation, perinatal depression, and then I forgot who. Someone else had mentioned it was about. You did.
Mifepristone, the current changes and recommendations and trying to get the FDA to repeal all of the crazy paperwork they have just to prescribe it.
And I remember pretty much all three of those, because I know you said you had spoken to the instructor as well, and then the other two were run by Dr. Baker. Did you guys have any ideas as to like what you guys felt was you were most comfortable with? I mean, I'm content with doing whatever.
I'm the same way. I mean, I feel like, who was it that had the perinatal depression?
That's me.
Did you talk to Dr. Baker?
I did not. I was just saying that like in reference to the email that I think it was Lisa.
I sent that, yeah.
Okay.
Just to say, hey, between the two, I was just comparing, just from reading over it, it seemed like those were the two topics that seemed to kind of would give us the biggest breadth to be able to work with, both for the policy, but then we have to think about it for a social justice topic as well. And it seemed like from her email kind of coming back, it might, the perinatal depression might be a topic that we could really get some good momentum with, both for this process, but then also for the social justice type piece. Yeah,
I agree with that. Totally.
Okay, so do we all feel good with moving forward with that as our topic?
Yeah, I feel great.
Yep, I vote yes.
Yay. All right, and then so my understanding is we have to do a fact sheet, we have to do a presentation and do a letter. Did anyone have an idea as to how we wanted to kind of work that out? Now, I know I already have, because this is my DNP project, what is perinatal depression too. So I do have a lot of information gathered in general about it. And so I can easily make a fact sheet. And then what else? The letter, I feel like if the fact sheet is made first, then that information can be used to drive the letter and the presentation. Is that kind of the direction you guys would think? I don't remember if there's like one that was due first than the other, or if we have to turn in everything all at once.
I thought it was all together.
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
I thought it was all together too. It's just three different parts of the assignment.
Right. Okay.
Well, I think that's great, because a lot of that legwork that you've already done, and hopefully for your sake too, just because you already have done a lot of work, that if that's easy for you to pull together, you've got a lot on your plate right now. So,
is that reasonable? Do you guys want me to do that? Just work on the fact sheet, and then I don't know what time. When is this due? Let me see.
The 26th, I think.
26th. Yeah.
26th of June.
May.
Okay. So we have until the following weekend. So 2 weekends, not this weekend, but the next weekend. Okay. So what time frame do you think would be appropriate? Like if I finish this fact sheet by then we can work on the letter and the what's the other one?
The slideshow.
Yeah.
Do you think that the letter and the slideshow could be worked on simultaneously?
Sure.
The letter seems like one person could maybe do that off the fact sheet, and then 2 people could work on the slideshow together. Maybe, I don't know. That's just a
Yeah.
That
thought.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would be, to work on the letter. I would be happy to work on that because it might be easier for me not to partner with somebody just because it's a little bit harder for me to connect with other people. So
That's a legit point.
Sure, absolutely. I honestly, I promise I don't care. Whatever is needed, I'll be happy to do it. So,
And I
Yeah.
think for the presentation, even doing it through Google Sheets, and then that way the link is shared. Anyone could see it in real time. What information is done. Yeah, and if you want, I could just start one and share the link with us, and then that way everybody has access to it. And then once I finish the fact sheet, I'll send. And so let me see. It says the 18th.
It also looks like we have to record the presentation.
You do, yeah. I did see that.
is the assumption that all of us would be part of that? And
That
be
was
adding to
actually
that?
what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Is it something where one of us, because I know how to record on PowerPoint.
Hmm.
Me personally, I don't know how to record on the Google version. I
if
just
you
don't.
if you have the Google Hangouts up, and then you upload or you open the YouTube thing that they have through Frontier, then you can screen share and then voice over, even if you just did a PowerPoint, but whatever you've got up, so we could do it like that.
And another option too is the same thing we're doing right now, and then just screen sharing it, and that way it's all recorded.
Yeah.
That way too. Or like I don't remember the instructions directly if it says that it has to be like if we're allowed to do just a voice over for each slide. I don't remember if it says that we can do that.
I'm looking at the policy packet now. Give me 1 second to
Yeah.
find. So it just says limit presentation to 3 to 6 minutes. Since you'll be presenting this in a public place, it will be necessary to include a title page with a disclaimer. Oh, I think we actually have to post this.
Okay, so then it probably does need to be a recording of the whole thing. If it has a time limit, I would imagine it would have
Yeah,
to.
because it says like we need a disclaimer saying that the views or opinions expressed in this presentation are solely those of the authors and do not reflect the views or opinions of Frontier.
Okay, and if you guys want, if it's a trouble for everyone to access Google Hangouts, I'll just be there as a fly on the wall or whatever, and open this up, share it, and then you guys can share your screen and go through the presentation. And that way we have it recorded.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So what time frame do you think would be good to finish the fact sheet?
So just kind of thinking it through, we've really got only like 3 weeks.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I think I don't know what's reasonable for you, Katrina, but like within the week, would it be by the end of this next week? Would that be reasonable?
That's fine. And then do you guys feel like a week is good enough for you to work on a PowerPoint and the letter? It's only 2 weeks. It's only 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's not 3.
My goodness. That's right. Okay, I gotta get my head around this. Oh yeah. So, that would.
Pushing it.
Well, what do you think, Katrina? From what you already have, how easy would it be for you to pull something together? What's reasonable to you? Do you think?
Let me see. So today's the 11th. So 13. All right. I could probably, because I probably could work on it when I'm done with this, and tomorrow I could say probably I can get it to you guys by Tuesday. For sure.
Wow, great.
And the letter looks like it's trying that we have to write it to somebody who actually can address this.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Like, just who do you guys think? Because I'm just looking at the write a letter to a legislator or policymaker. Who in thinking about this? I did read over your paper, which I thought was great, Katrina. I thought it was really good, really well done.
Yeah.
But kind of who, this is still a policy that has not yet passed.
Right.
So it just kind of looking through it was kind of who should be some key people that would be kind of those stakeholders or
Yeah, I'll give everybody kind of a background on it.
Yeah.
So it's the place where it's at right now is that it's been brought to the table by two senators, and it's been moved to a special committee. And once the committee is supposed to, they could either choose to move it on back to receive a vote, or they can bring in people who are considered experts. So it could be a healthcare professional, pregnant women who've gone through perinatal depression to come in and speak and to be heard and ask questions and address their concerns before it moves back to the Senate. So, with that being said, I feel like there's so many different
Wouldn't it be good to write to the person, like the chair of that committee?
Yeah,
Make that the person who we're addressing, like saying, here, we want to meet with you to provide you those facts. We want to be one of your expert people.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good position to come from, an expert panel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, and then even offering the opportunity to be a person. I mean, are you a midwife?
Yes.
No, I meant Lisa. Lisa, right?
No, I'm FNP.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're writing on behalf of the group. How do you as yourself, or as like on behalf of the Olive team?
Yeah, no, that's actually a really great thing. I mean, I would think that, I could even as an FNP because, in my practice too, I actually see a lot of prenatal, I do a lot of prenatal care. So just as a, somebody who is a ground, on the ground advocate for this patient population, that, this is a vital concern kind of thing.
And that's fine. I'm just curious, like, how she would want us to address it. And maybe the instructions specify that, but I don't know that it would matter as long as I think the Olive team would be silly, but and I think 4 people's names.
That'd be excellent. And with all of our different, because we'd have 2 FNPs and we'd have 2 midwives, that would be really a strong point, right?
Yeah, I think addressing it from all of us.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, and then, is there
and kind of even touch in the letter about how this isn't something unique necessarily to North Carolina. This is something that will set a precedence worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then
is this policy at the North Carolina House level or at government at the federal level?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I missed it. Is it at the North Carolina state level or federal level?
Federal
level. Okay.
At the federal level. And then there's also, and one of the arguments too that I made in the paper was that there's another bill that's being put to the table as well simultaneously with this one, and they're almost exactly the same. And so it's also creating an argument that and the one that preceded it, I think I'd mentioned that too in the paper, was the one that opened the pathway for perinatal depression to be on the subject at the government level. And so I don't know, I guess just addressing the fact that this is something that obviously needs to be addressed. It's being addressed from multiple of our constituents. And so, for it.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. And then for the presentation portion of it, do you guys feel like, when do you guys want to meet back again? I guess, I don't know, to talk it over, or we need to meet again?
I feel like next Saturday, sorry, somebody else have, I would say
all right, Lisa, you go.
No, I was just saying, we probably need a little bit of time to kind of work on the parts and then kind of come back and talk it through and things like that together. But I don't know by next Saturday if that's a reasonable expectation.
Well, if we're going to, so Nicole, I guess you and I are going to work on the PowerPoint or the presentation. Is that kind of how it defaulted?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's great, but we'll need, I guess, their information to pull from before we start that, correct? Don't you think?
So that's what I was going to ask, is if maybe we could set up a document that has links or somehow where we could pull all of the articles. And maybe if we had a Google Doc, we could just kind of leave note trails in there and submit that instead of having to do necessarily like another Google Hangout
Mhm.
or if we have scheduling conflicts. Part of the reason why I'm saying that is because my job doesn't even have a schedule for me. I am literally going day by day on
Oh
what.
my goodness.
Yeah, my stress level right now is like
Ah.
I have 3 little kids and I was supposed to start Monday. They started me early. They're just like in that sense disorganized. They don't really know what they're doing with me. So I don't know if I'm doing call yet. And if I'm not doing call on Monday through Friday, like 9 to 5. And that makes my life because I don't get home until probably closer to 7 with traffic.
Oh Lord.
So why
My
don't we do, sorry.
No, I was gonna say I agree. My schedule, I work 12-hour shifts, and it's Monday. It's every day of the week. So so we work crazy days too. So that would work well for me. Is also
Just
Nicole.
kind of doing like some type of email or Google Doc, and we can
Yeah.
just kind of submit that as this is how we've been talking and meeting up to set up the slideshow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then maybe like right before we're finished, we can get back together one more time, maybe if we need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys could, if so, my paper probably would have a lot, or is going to have a lot of information that's going to help for this. I'll do a Google Doc where I do my fact sheet and then give you guys all a link to access it. And then that way you can just see it in real time whenever you need it to work on the Google Sheets. And then I can create the Google Sheet, share with everybody, and then you guys could work on the presentation using the information from that.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
And I'll do the same. I'll create a Google Doc for the letter as I work on it so that you guys can look in. I'll share it with all of you guys. Anybody can look in on it and see it at any time.
Sounds good. Sounds
Okay.
awesome.
Sounds like we have a plan. So I'll get it to you guys by Tuesday, and then maybe we could, I guess, plan to reconvene if it's due the 26th. If we need to reconvene and just to make sure we tie up loose ends, then we could try to meet maybe sometime that weekend. But I
Yeah.
don't imagine that we'll need to do a whole lot for this.
I don't think so either. I think we've got it. We're smart gals.
That's right.
Just
Yeah.
listening, I listened in on some of her like tips and tricks and things like that for this discussion for this project, and a little bit she made a big point to emphasize she doesn't just want us to kind of divide and conquer this assignment, and I think this is why we're recording this, but to really be able to discuss it and engage with it together, and like just the stimulation of discussing it. So I feel like we do have to have maybe that final time, some kind of hangout that we really talk it through, and on, as kind of as policymaker mentality, that we're really discussing it and engaging with it, the topics, and not just kind of what we're going to be doing, but topics itself. I think that was part of her purpose, and not just kind of saying, hey, on a DMP level, we don't want to just be everybody does a part, but actually wanting us to engage about it. So we have to show evidence. We have to show that.
Okay, and I think also just sharing the links will naturally be doing that too, because then we'll also be able to give feedback on the work that's done and make recommendations, or even something simple like grammar or APA format, that kind of thing.
And we could do the comments to show that like there was a comment, it was resolved, that we're actually talking to each other, but we don't necessarily have to do it real time.
Right.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it's great. And she did create in the module like a discussion board that's just for our Olive team. So we don't have to use that, but I'm just saying that's another medium that she created to show that we're engaging and talking about it. But that might just be too much extra if we're already going to use this formatting.
Touche.
Yeah. I think it'd be information at too many different places that makes it confusing.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. All right, ladies. Sounds like we got a plan.
Sounds good to me. I'm excited.
Awesome. It's nice getting to meet you guys.
Before we sign off, can I just review I just kind of missed what we said. We said that, kind of through the next 2 weeks, but then that final weekend, like before the 26th, try to find a time. Is that what you're saying? To do kind of a final talk through?
I think if needed. I think if for whatever reason the comments that we make on the Google Docs and Sheets, right, maybe it's not as clear, or there's other things that would warrant us kind of tying up loose ends, then we could meet to do that. And then for even if it's just to run through maybe once for the presentation with pulling it up, going through it, recording it, and making sure that we don't have to do it 150 times because we've got some glitches.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. But otherwise, most of our communication could be on the documents that we share. And then the last meet could just be to make sure that we actually record it properly without 100 takes. But I would imagine it would be necessary to do that.
And I think when you're looking at it, the presentation is really for the general public to get them, and we have to pick like an action. So we want them to call their representative or, they have to do an action. So maybe even if we did what is it called? Like those petition signing. I forget if it's like change.org, where if we set up a petition and then like if you're agreeing with this, go to this link, sign the petition, kind of a way of seeing if it's actually, or we have to set up an action. I think that was the one thing. For number 4, it says ask for an action. So we have to have something that we're asking the general population to do.
I think that's great. That's a great idea.
You guys feel good with doing the presentation? Does that seem fair? I want to make sure it doesn't seem like you guys are getting like the thick of it.
I agree.
I think that sounds okay.
Okay.
Because we'll be sharing it, so.
Yeah. It's 2 of us doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to make sure. All right. Okay. Sound good? We all have a plan?
Yeah.
Sounds
so
great.
just can we just maybe that final meeting, can we just go ahead and maybe put that as a date so we all kind of, are we saying like the 25th, that Saturday the 25th, to try to do that? Is that kind of the thought?
Let me check. I'm not 100% sure of my schedule. Can we come back to that?
Sure. Okay.
I don't have my schedule in front of me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we just got some time. It's my daughter's 16th birthday that weekend, so I'm trying to do a couple different things. So I'll try to. So that's kind of why I was like, I want to nail down when that's happening. But let's
when is it that you're doing the party so that we don't try, like if it comes down to it, we know that time is not available. Like
Sure. Well, I think if it could be something again around this like 4:00 time on the 25th, if that works, that would actually work for me because I'd be at a location. Her birthday's not till the 26th, but we're driving 4 hours to a place, and so but I think I'd be there by then, and that would be fine. So.
Okay, I'll check and see, and I we can let each other know. This weekend.
Perfect.
All righty, guys. It's been real.
It's been fun. It was nice to meet you guys.
You too.
All
right. Take care.
Bye-bye.